Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chaya Napash coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be dealing with this podcast discussion that this individual is having on Clyde Do Something with a Canadian nonprofit organization CEO, right? Named John Carpe, I believe his name is. And he's discussing how by Christmas, Canada could turn into a police state, you know? And whether it's by Christmas or a few months later, we know that that's coming. Okay. The same move that they're doing in Babylon is the same move that they're going to be doing, in the rest of these beast system countries, So let's go ahead and play this video.
Canada will be a police state by Christmas if Parliament passes bills C2, C8, and C9 in their current form.
Ladies and gents, welcome back. My guest today is John Carpe, the founder and president of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, a nonprofit in Canada that's been helping Canadians with their legal battles against a growing authoritarian government. His warning today is that Canada could become a police state as soon as Christmas this year.
Tip of the iceberg.
Viral, and it was a police state by Christmas. Why? What happened?
Well, tip of the iceberg, we got bills C2, C8, and C9 before Parliament. 1 minute summary, 2 minute summary. Bill C2 is the Strong Borders Act, should be called the Strong Surveillance Act. It's got some, not terrible provisions about immigration and refugees and borders that most people would probably support. It also includes, it's 140 pages long, this bill. It includes provisions to authorize Canada Post to open letter mail without a warrant, without a court order. It authorizes, it creates a brand new piece of legislation called the Authorized Access to Information Act, which gives new powers to federal government officials to search your computers and search your phones, to order tech companies to turn over their subscriber lists with IP addresses. It makes it illegal to use cash in amounts of...
So, dealing with the computer turning over the information, right? We know that, they're coming down on free speech, right? So you can't just say what you want to say. All right. And if they deem it to be hate speech, that's one of the bills, Bill C9, that goes into hate speech, right? They're going to be able to grab you up and put you in those camps. Okay. Let's get this. One is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That's dealing with these Edomites, this rulership. Okay, they're going to be watching every move that you do. That's why they're going to have access to your cell phones. They're going to have access to your data online, right? And eventually they want to put that micro C-hip inside of you so they can have access to you 24/7, including your thoughts. Okay, this is Esau's plan. All right. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. And who's them that reproveth in the gate? The elect that are the elect prophets, the prophets that are out there prophesying. Okay. They're reproving them. They're speaking against their wicked deeds. And they're saying, listen, we got to set a trap for these guys. We have to set a snare for these guys. So the bills that he's speaking about, these are all snares. Okay. The laws that are recently passed here in Montreal about preaching and prayer, okay, which they try to cover it by saying it's about Muslims, right? But we know that it's not about that, okay? It's not about that. We know that at the end of the day, it's targeted to us, you see? So Esau, he's a serpent. He moves in a serpentine way, okay? says that make a man an offender for a word and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Okay? That reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay? That's what they're getting ready to do. They're getting ready to come against the just. All right, let's go to Revelations 12 and 12. This is Revelations 12 and 12. But before I get that, matter of fact, let's start with getting. This computer's messing up. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Isaiah 10. This is Isaiah 10 and verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. These different bills, this is grievousness. Okay? It's grievousness. Matter of fact, let's look up this word grievousness. Maul, right? Misery, travail, trouble, sorrow. Okay? That's what's going to come from these bills. Okay? Pain. All right? That's what's coming from these bills. You see? So they're setting it up like it's beneficial to the people, but the people have no say in these bills that they pass. They just pass these bills because they were already previously prescribed, okay, to push forth the agenda of the elites, which is what? The NWO. Okay? Verse 2. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Yeah, you're not going to have any rights when all is said and done. You're not going to have any rights whatsoever. Okay? And to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay? When you get that CHIP and that digital money, you can only spend it on what they want you to spend it on. Okay? And there's going to be a time when it can expire. Okay? And they can take out whatever they want to take out of that, the credits that you have for the month. Right? If you don't comply if you don't act the way they want you to act. And if you have a problem with it, they'll just turn off your chip and you can't do anything. You can't take the metro. You can't take public transit. You can't drive a car. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. That's total control. And if people are talking about, we need to learn how to grow food, yo. If you listen, you're not going to be allowed to grow food. To grow food is going to be illegal. Do you understand what this man is doing? Anyways, let's continue.
Of 10,000 or more, which in and of itself is not necessarily a huge problem because most of us don't use $10,000 cash to donate to charity or to buy things. But it's a step in the wrong direction towards central bank digital currency because they can lower that amount down to 5,000.
Yeah, well, they're going to lower that amount to zero, right? It's called gradualism, right? They're not just going to say, okay, you can only spend $100 in cash now. No, well, that's too low. So if they start with 10,000, which most people don't use 10,000 in cash, right? Then they can just lower it. And very soon, cash is going to be obsolete. It's not going to be usable. So it really doesn't matter.
Cash, and it's illegal to use cash in amounts more than 5,000, which becomes illegal to use cash in amounts of more than 1,000. And before you know it, you'll be left with, discretionary $100 for a garage sale. So that's Bill C2, the Strong Borders Act. Then we've got Bill C8, which actually empowers federal cabinet ministers to kick Canadians off the internet. So if they don't like what you are saying or what I'm saying, under the auspices of a threat to national cybersecurity systems, which is not defined, and threat is not defined, they acquire the power to order a telecommunication service provider, which is any company that's providing internet or phone or anything other than hard copy, pen and paper, any company providing a telecommunication service, they can order it to do anything or to refrain from doing anything. They can order it to kick Canadians off the internet. So you could be suddenly left stranded without your phone, without a computer. And the cabinet minister can make his order secret, so you're not allowed to talk to anybody about it. The fines for not complying with the federal cabinet minister's order are up to $50,000 per day for individuals and $15 million for businesses.
Did you hear that? Not complying with the order is how much dollars per day for a regular human being, right? Making $35,000 a year, 25,000 a year, 45,000 a year, 50,000 a year. This is how much they're going to charge you for not complying, according to this bill. Listen up. Let's do this again.
Cabinet minister can make his order secret, so you're not allowed to talk to anybody about it. The fines for not complying with the federal cabinet minister's order are up to $50,000 per day for individuals.
$50,000 per day. So if they say you're not allowed to be on the internet or to use a telephone or anything like that, and you don't comply with that, that's $50,000 per day that you're going to be charged. Think about that. All right? And you know the average person could never pay that back. Okay? So they're coming down with straight up totalitarianism. All right? Straight up totalitarianism. All right? So let me get Revelations. No, matter of fact, before I get that, let's get Amos 8 and 11. Right? Because this is all leading to what? The famine of the word. There's going to be a time when we're not going to be out there, be able to be out there and prophesy, man. Okay? And it may happen other places before other places, you know, but we'll see. See how it works out, right? This is Amos 8 and 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh." See, they don't want this word to be readily available anymore. Okay? "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst." They right? So at the end of the day, they're going to be looking for this word. They're going to be thirsty for this word, but it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Okay? That means the Heavenly Father hath rejected you. Right? And then you have certain women that are going to, try to cleave onto a man of the Lord, right? Like Isaiah 4 and 1 says. And then some of them are going to have mercy. Okay? So this is what's coming, man. This is what Esau Edom is coming with. He's coming with that. In verse 12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." They know their time is short. Okay? So, they're coming down with that wrath. Now it's time to establish what their NWO. This is what they're doing. Okay? This is what they're doing here. So you're not going to be able to say what you want or do what you want any longer. That's coming to an end. Free speech is about to be done. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, that's about to be done away with.
And $15 million for businesses. So you can bet your bottom
not out of the ordinary, by the way. Like most YouTubers have registered businesses. So you want to kick a YouTuber off, it's really expensive for these ISPs, because it'll be millions of dollars per day that they don't comply with this. It doesn't matter what the reasoning is. So you're probably going to bet that they're going to comply.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of compliance here when the penalties are that high. 50,000 per day for individuals, 15 million per day for businesses. So that theoretically, you can challenge the minister's order in court. However, for that, you need an extra 100,000 sitting in a bank account that you don't need for anything else, that you can use on a court action, which will drag on for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And you might not win.
Right.
You might not win your court action. So that's really scary. It's called the Critical Cyber Systems Protection Act. And of course, politicians never take away our rights and freedoms, or they never violate our privacy rights without providing a nice sounding pretext. So this is all about keeping Canada's telecommunications system safe from cyber terrorists, from hackers, from people that are.
Misinformation was also listed in the bill, right? So like even in just if you happen to say something that's not true, maybe you believe it, but it's not true, that's considered misinformation because it's not right information.
Well, don't you
It
appreciate,
kills the
Clyde, how
point.
the government's trying to keep you safe from misinformation? You don't
From
want to be
opinions.
fooled. Don't you want the government to protect you from misinformation by
No.
deciding on your behalf what is true and false? And then
that's
because that's what it boils down to, right? I mean,
it's terrifying.
in principle, everybody would agree in principle that false information is a bad thing and true information is a good thing. That's fine. However, the problem is, do we as adults in a free country get to decide for ourselves what is true or false, what is hateful, what is not hateful, etc., or is the government going to decide on our behalf? And so they play on emotions by saying, you know, misinformation, disinformation, and hate are bad things. Okay, fair enough. So we're going to protect you from them by deciding on your behalf what constitutes misinformation, disinformation, and hate. And we're going to, you know, kick the wrong people off the internet, which leads right into Bill C9, which is Combating Hate Act. And it's going to unleash a lot of prosecutions against a lot of Canadians for their speech online and offline by removing a current requirement that currently, if you want to prosecute a Canadian for willfully promoting hatred, which has been a criminal code offense for a long time, you need the approval of the Attorney General, the Justice Minister.
And what is hatred? You understand what I'm saying? They use these broad terms. What constitutes hatred? If you tell somebody, if you speak the truth about somebody, and you say they own this and that record company, does that equate? Does that count as hate? What accounts for hate? See, this is how the devil operates, and then you'll see them being questioned about it, and then they won't even answer the question because there's really no. It's just a broad brush so that they can grab anyone up they feel like grabbing up. Right? Whatever they feel is hateful. It's subjective to them. You know, it's really it's pure wickedness, man. It's pure wickedness. All right, but hey, we know that this is what this devil is here for, and he's subtle, right? He moves in. He's than any beast of the field, which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So he moves in a way. He doesn't come straight. He doesn't shoot straight. Okay, he comes sideways. He moves around. He baits you in. It's all kind of trickery, man. Let's look up this word serpent, man. Nachash. Hold on, let me see where it is. Okay, right here. Nachash, right? It's word for serpent, right? It says a serpent, fleeing serpent. Let's go to the root word. It says to practice divination, divine, observe signs, learn by experience. So Esau knows how you people operate. He's been studying the people, okay, and he knows how to go about what he's doing because it's the same process. They always do this, but you see, they're leading to something. They're not just doing it for no reason. They're leading to something. It says practice fortune telling, take an omen to practice divination, to observe signs or omens. So look up the word divination. It says divination is the practice of seeking to discover what is hidden or the future, generally through occult, magical, or irrational means. See, well, the thing is, they're pushing forward, right, to their agenda, and they're being guided by the left-hand side. Okay? So they have their astrologers, their stargazers, people that predict the future. Okay? or they think they predict the future, because they didn't tell them they were going into captivity. Okay, they didn't tell them that their plans were going to fail, right? So there's deception in what these demons are telling them. But hey, but they're moving forward with their plans. Okay, it says it encompasses a wide variety of methods such as cartomancy, astrology, numerology, and dream interpretation. The word comes from the Latin divinare, which means to foresee, right? So Esau is nothing but a high level witch on the left hand side. Okay, that's all Esau is. All right. You think Levi is on a level? Esau's on a way higher level than Levi when it comes to witchcraft. Okay. It says the word for subtle, it says subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly, sensible, man. So this is a sensible, sly witch, a crafty, sly, shrewd witch. So, and he knows what he's doing, man. He knows exactly what he's doing, man. Esau's not stupid. Okay. Esau's not stupid at all, man. Just going to the root. Okay. It says subtlety, crafty, prudent. Okay, so they know what the reaction of the people is going to be. Why do you think these people in Washington, they're going to these particular places to hide themselves, man? They know what's getting ready to come, man. Okay, they estimated this. All right, and Canada's easy pickings because these people don't got no guns. Right, so it's easier than Babylon. Most of the world is easier. Babylon is hard because the people have them guns. But it's still no match for, obviously, the U.S. Army. But a lot of them army men are jumping ship, and a lot of them are going to jump ship and not participate in what the elites are telling them to do. And this is why they have the robots prepared. Esau, hey man, Esau has everything mapped out, but he's gonna fail. He's gonna fail, man. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more.
And so there's a sober second thought, which means that local police, local crown prosecutors cannot unilaterally just prosecute anybody they want for hate speech. They're going to get rid of that sober second thought and leave it up to the discretion of local police, local crown prosecutors. And of course, as you know, in the United Kingdom, we had over 12,000 arrests in 1 year for people, complaining about immigration on their Twitter account, and they get a knock on the door from a police officer that might arrest them, or not nearly as bad, but still scary. The police will warn you that you've said something bad, so you better watch it. Otherwise, the next time I have to show up here, it's going to be an arrest. Not to
mention, a lot of times, like when the Crown's prosecuting people, they're looking for plea deals. So they're looking for people to plea out on things. So you'll take a lesser charge. So people are being charged.
So anyway, so you see the point, man. This is what they're moving with. They passed 3 bills, and all of these bills are pushing forward towards what? Towards tyranny. Okay, so Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.